Mom, why is it so hard to find you? I want you to find me.
서로 생기며 좋네.
요거는 남동생이고.
말 들어. 안 돼.
아니 아직이지.
Christine Pennell was about 2 years old when she was believed to be abandoned at a train station in Daegu City in South Korea. A year later, she was adopted by a family in the U.S. She grew up surrounded by warmth with a mother, father, and 5 other siblings. But there was always something missing.
I've always known I was adopted, obviously. Growing up with a white family, I knew I was adopted. So even when I was younger, I would always say, like, I'm going to Korea. That never left me. In school, like all the library books that had to do with Korea had my name over and over. I was always reading books about Korea.
Kim Hae-lin was only 6 weeks old when she too was left at a train station not too far from where Christine was found. She was adopted by a family in Belgium. These two are sisters who lived for almost half a century not knowing about each other. They found out only in 2019 after doing DNA tests in their countries. Christine because she wanted to find her mother, and Kim for health reasons.
Suddenly, one day, I get an email and it says, "Are you Korean? I think we're related." And I see in front of me, Kim Hae-lin, Belgium, full sister. And I'm just crying, and I'm like, this is full sister. That means our parents were together long enough for the both of us to be born 2.5 years apart. So we came from a family.
They reunited a year later in South Korea after 49 years apart. They traveled together to the southern city of Daegu, located about 300 kilometers southeast of Seoul, hoping to find clues that would help them find their mother. With no memories of their past or the names of their parents, they left empty-handed. But Christine says at least they have each other. She has made several trips to Daegu, a 2-hour train ride from Seoul, since moving to South Korea in 2020 to find her mother. Something about the city makes her feel safe, like she's back home. Especially here, where she was found alone on November 13th, 1971.
I wish she would just come here and say, "I found you." I just wish it wasn't so hard. Sometimes I picture like the fact that we probably came here together and I was just playing like in the dirt or something, and then maybe I turn around and like she was just gone. 3 weeks later, my sister was dropped off in Daegu.
She's hoping this time, with help from a native Korean speaker like me, she can learn more about her mother.
Maybe she's sick, maybe she died, maybe she doesn't watch TV, I don't know. But there's gotta be like a neighbor that knows something, or her family or something.
We asked around and ran into this grandmother.
기차역은 저기 있었는데
맞아요.
지금 다
없어졌잖아요.
없어졌. 근데 이 동네 역가 전부 옛날에 조그마한 집들이 있었는데 지금 싹 다 바뀌었잖아.
Christine wanders to a nearby park, which she thinks may have a connection to her past.
When I was biking here, that I just started crying. I just figured my body knew something that I didn't know. Because like, I've never had that happen in my life.
안녕하세요. 71년에도 여기서 사셨어요?
그러면 한 50년 전에 여기서 살은 사람 있나?
저요.
She has flyers ready to hand out, made when she first came to South Korea.
앞으로 생기면 연락.
I've never been angry. All I want is I just want to hold her. I just want to know that she's okay and that it was hard for her. Because I'm sure it was. Like, I have 4 children. And if anything ever happened to my children, I couldn't see them again. I don't know how to keep living. She gave up too. And we're good people. So she must have had a wonderful heart.
Her final stop in Daegu, the station where her sister Kim was found. Christine says, according to adoption papers, in a bathroom somewhere here, a young woman they presumed was their mother left her baby with a stranger while she used the toilet and never returned. It's times like this when Christine misses her sister. She calls her, and soon they're chatting away like any other pair of sisters.
So you sent me the picture of your hair with a perm. It was so cute. How long did you have a perm for?
Well, a half day.
You know she's here in Daegu and she still wants to find your mother. Do you want to also find your mother too, do you think?
Yeah, of course. I have the same feeling as Christine. We have a certain age now, so
Yeah, there's less time.
If you found your mother, what would you like to say to your mother?
Well, the circumstances doesn't matter because we love each other.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for the interest. Bye.
Christine's day trip ends here with no new clues. But she says she'll be back and won't stop searching until she finds her birth mother. American adoptee Christine now lives in South Korea with her own business and a renewed sense of purpose. She set up Sugar Mama Bakery in Gangseogu, Seoul a year ago.
I really have this big plan that this Sugar Mama ends up like all over Korea, not just here in Gangseogu. And if I can get famous, maybe that will help me find my family.
Christine's bakery serves American food, a reflection of her years growing up in the U.S.
Hey, how you doing?
The shop has become a second home of sorts for adoptees looking for their birth families in South Korea.
Christine, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
There's even a DNA kit in case a customer wants one.
That's frustrating, especially since
This couple, Mary and Dana, were born in South Korea in 1971 and sent to the U.S. for adoption. He in 1974 and she in 1972. The group swap life stories and are each other's source of support in a search that may well be fruitless. Many adoption papers have been found to be falsified with made-up information like the place a child was born, their date of birth, and even their names. Many were listed as orphans despite having families. This made it easier to send them abroad for adoption, a practice that became widespread after the Korean War in the 1950s. Then, some Korean women who had children with Western, mostly American soldiers, gave them up for adoption. but that soon expanded to children from poor families, orphanages, and unwed mothers, as the business reportedly brought millions of dollars into South Korea. In recent years, reports have emerged of kidnappings and newborns taken away by doctors who claimed they were dead or sick. There have been several cases where adoptees have sued the South Korean government and adoption agencies in recent years. But just recently, there's been a case where a South Korean parent, a mother, has sued the South Korean government. And so I'm here today to meet this mother, Tae-soon. The 70-year-old woman is all smiles now because in 2019, she found her daughter, Shin-kyung-ha. Except she is now known as Laurie Bender. At the age of 4, she was sent to the U.S. for adoption, even though she was reported missing by her parents. Ms. Han recalls that fateful day in May 1975.
어떤 상황도 없었어요. 그냥 집 앞에서 평상시하고 노는 거하고 똑같이 놀다가 5명 애들은 매일 집 앞에 여기 공터에 앉아서 돌 갖고 공기놀이하고 놀았거든요. 근데 이제 그날은 내가 지 동생이 둘이 있으니까 애기 하나 업고 하나 끌고 경아야 나 엄마 시장 갈 건데 갈래? 그러니까 안 간대. 걔들하고 이제 맨날 노니까 항상 그런 식이었어요. 그러는 갔다 오니까 없어진 거지.
The family searched everywhere, making trips nearly daily to the police station, government offices, and orphanages. And plastering her pictures at train stations, on the streets, and on bags of snacks that advertised missing children.
내가 살아있잖아. 그렇게 하고 그런 입양 가고 해외로다가 입양 가고 고아원 간다는 거는 나는 머릿속에 아예 없었고 만에 하나 얘가 살아있다면 그냥 국내 가정에 자기 자식 하려고 데려가는 거.
The two met face to face for the first time 5 years ago after being matched through DNA testing. Also with Kyung-ha was her daughter.
컴퓨터로다가 맨날 보고 잘 있었어 어쩌고 그러면 맨날 울었어. 만나면서도 맨날 어머 어떻게 살았니 어떻게 살았니 이거밖에. 딱 만나니까 내가 계속 걔를 끌어안고 머리를 이렇게 쓰다듬으면서도 얘가 진짜 맞을까?
During their reunion, she learned what happened the day her daughter disappeared.
근데 걔는 거기서 공기놀이하고 애들하고 노는데 어떤 여자가 와서 너 니네 집에 애기 낳았지? 그러더래. 너 엄마가 너 집에 이제 너 필요 없대. 너 동생 나서 너 필요 없대. 너 나 따라갈래? 그랬대. 근데 거기를 간 거예요. 둘이서 그 여자하고. 거기를 갔다가 여기서 기차 타고 여기까지 가는 동안에 얘는 잔 거예요.
When she woke up, the woman was gone.
그러니까 누가 파출소를 데려다 준 거예요. 그 앞에 바로 파출소가 있어. 이번에 가봤어. 그러니까 그 기억을 다 하고 있더라고요. 그 제천역 그거 다 기억하고.
근데 그 제천 그 파출소에서는 찾아줄 생각 안 하고
바로 끌고 제천역 유아원에 갖다 준 거지.
Ms. Han is suing the government, the home, and Holt Children's Services, South Korea's biggest adoption agency, which handled her adoption. She says her child was sent to the U.S. 9 months after she went missing without proper background checks or efforts to find her family. In her adoption papers, Shin Kyung-ha is described as an abandoned orphan with no known parents, and her surname had been changed to Paek.
내가 평생을 바쳐서 얘를 찾았는데도 정부에서건 홀트에서건 기관에서 어느 누가 안 됐다 소리 한마디도 아직 못 들었고 또 내가 이만큼 고생했는데 보상이라도 나는 받고 싶고 원상복구 해놔라. 걔랑 나랑은 말이 안 통하니까 찾았어도 딜레마야 이게. 어떻게 말을 못하겠어. 걔는 한국말 못해. 나는 영어 못해. 그러니까 누가 보상할 거냐고. 내가 젊으냐고. 지금 나이 73살인데. 지금 미국하고 이거 홀트가 지갑 받겠어?
Cho Min-ho, who heads the children's rights groups, is one of many people who helped Miss Han search for a child. He himself grew up in an orphanage after losing hold of his mother's hand when he was 4. He says he resisted adoption but witnessed about 50 others being sent abroad at the orphanage.
케이스를 이제는 좀 올바르게 좀 바로잡고 거기에 대한 책임이라든가 정보 자체가 잘못된 정보고 이름도 성도 다 바뀌고 부모가 있는데도 부모가 없다라고 해서 나가기 때문에 찾을 수 있는 방법이 없는 거예요. DNA를 통해서 이제 해외 입양인들이나 이렇게 해서 이제 찾을 수 있는 것을.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready.
But for families torn apart, the pain of separation and heartbreak lingers on. Driven by poverty, South Korea once served as the world's largest source of babies for adoption. At its peak in 1985, nearly 9,000 babies were sent overseas. But the numbers fell as the government tried to increase domestic adoptions due to criticism. According to government data, 229 Korean children were adopted last year. Among them, 79 were sent abroad, as adoption agencies could not find families for them in South Korea, where adoption is a taboo subject.
형아 구령에 맞춰서 해.
Lee In-ae, a member of the Gyeonggi Province Assembly, has 3 children. She and her husband adopted their youngest, Son-yu, when he was 5 months old.
저희가 이제 남편이랑 저랑 약간 아이가 많았으면 좋겠다라는 생각을 했었어요. 그래서 남편이랑 이야기를 했던 게 우리가 꼭 낳는 거 말고도 입양이라는 부분으로 가족을 한번 더 만들어 보자라는 얘기를 좀 했었어요.
For the couple, it was a complex process that took about a year.
필요한 서류들을 이제 제출을 하고 재산 관련된 내용들도 있고 우리 가족이 어떻게 지내는지 와서 확인도 하고 심리 검사 같은 것도 있고 건강을 검사하는 것도 있고 그리고 입양을 왜 했는지에 대한 계기 같은 작성한 에세이도 좀 작성을 해야 되고 이제 저희가 그 이제 기준에 맞으면 입양 가족 대상자가 되는 거예요. 근데 또 아이를 만나기까지도 시간이 좀 오래 걸려요.
She says the moment she laid eyes on Son-yu, she knew she wanted him.
출산한 엄마들이 하는 말이 다 그거거든요. 딱 아이를 만나면 딱 우리 아이다라는 이런 느낌을 받는다고 해요. 막 모성애가 막 입양으로 만나면 이 느낌을 가질 수 있을까라는 그런 생각을 딱 만났을 때 너무 신기하게 저희 시댁의 시아주버님이랑 너무 닮아요. 그런 느낌, 이미지가 너무 닮아요. 그래서 가족은 약간 생긴 거랑 이런 걸로 통하는 게 있잖아요.
엄청 시원하다.
Son-yu's older siblings know he was adopted as Miss Lee never hid it from them. Son-yu turned 3 this year. And when he grows up, she says she will accept it if he wants to meet his birth mother.
아이의 그 의사가 제일 중요한 것 같아요. 저희가 나중에 아이가 혹시나 사춘기나 좀 컸을 때 입양 기관 통해서 편지를 요청했어요. 저희도 편지를 썼고 생모가 아이한테 편지를 써줬으면 좋겠다. 나중에 아이한테 공개를 하고 싶다. 조금 사춘기 정도 됐을 때. 왜냐면 이 아이의 존재에 대한 부분을 너무 아이가 어려워할까 봐. 그래서 그거는 받아놓은 내용들은 있어요.
The 2 playful boys are a handful. But father Kim Bang-seok is not ruling out adopting another child.
가능성은 있는데 현재로서는 조금 3명에 조금 집중을 하자가 조금 초점에 맞춰져 있습니다. 첫째를 키울 때는 좀 힘들긴 했는데 그래도 둘째를 낳아보자 해서 둘째를 낳았고 그러다 보니까 생각보다 더 힘들더라고요. 그래서 어차피 힘든 거 셋을 낳자 이제 입양을 해봤는데 제가 생각했던 거 이상으로 힘들더라고요. 넷째는 잠정 보류를 하고 있는 상태입니다.
The couple are open about Sonyu's roots, but they acknowledge there is an aversion to adoption in South Korea. In 2020, there were 20,000 children in local orphanages. Many parents who do adopt do not admit it.
혈연 중심이 제가 개인적으로 느낄 땐 그게 되게 강하다는 생각이 들어요. 그래서 친족 관계라든지 뭐 이런 것도 되게 중요하게 생각하고 입양에 대해서 되게 뭔가 숨기는 것들이 많고 되게 안 좋게 보는 시선이 많으니까 그걸 드러내기 어려워하는 분들이 계세요.
But cases like theirs could become more common, with South Korea planning to reform its adoption system amid heavy criticism.
민간에서 담당했다가 지금 아마 내년부터 좀 법이 바뀌면서 아예 이게 다 국가에서 책임적으로 하는 부분들 바뀌었어요. 병원에서 출산을 하면 바로 출생 등록을 또 할 수 있거든요. 그런 것들이 조금 단축화되면은 입양 갈 수 있는 상황들이 좀 아이들이 많이 생기게 됐죠, 국내로.
Good morning.
But not all couples in South Korea who want to adopt are being given a chance. Thomas Pallet lives in Busan City with his Korean wife and their pet dog. They were turned down by local adoption agencies as he is not Korean but British.
So the very first time we tried was before we were married. I think summer of 2018. My wife phoned up just to inquire. And they just said shortly, are you married? No, phone back when you're married. So we married in May 2019. She phoned up again. And they said, oh, your husband's a foreigner. No, we can't work with you.
The 42-year-old hopes there will be more clarity for international couples after the adoption system comes under government's direct management next year.
I think we have a better chance. I have been told that mixed Korean foreigner couples should be treated more like domestic cases.
The government says the new state-led adoption system will safeguard children, promote domestic adoptions, and reduce the number of children sent overseas. But for many of the babies the state failed to protect decades ago, who are all grown up now, they're still waiting for answers and justice.
Ready? On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.